Good almost afternoon. Well, good morning, almost afternoon. It's just about noon, and I wanted to hop on and just say a few things right quick that I don't want to, put on my Sunday update. I want to start by saying that when I started this journey, it was primarily at the moment that I made the decision was because I went to my provider, and my provider explained to me that I was a 7 out of 10 on a 10 point scale, that I would have a heart attack in 10 years. A 7 out of 10 scale that I would have a heart attack in 10 years. So it could be less, right? So that makes everything from that moment emergent, right? Because I'm more likely to have a heart attack than not. So the measures that I take from that are emergent, right? So that's what started my journey, and that's what I like to bring the importance back to. Not about weight loss, so to speak, but just my actual health markers. And that was because of my cholesterol, because of, my hypertension and my cholesterol, and my weight as the leading factors, right? So I decided to do something about it. And that was to start the GLP-1 journey, and in that journey, I had no idea of what would take place, what would happen, how me injecting that pen into myself, what would it do, right? So in January, when I took the first pen, and this how I just didn't know what would happen, right? Is because I didn't even record anything in January when I started taking the pen. I was prescribed the pen in November, but through the holiday, I said, well, I don't want to start something and not be successful, so I'm gonna go ahead and wait till the start of the year. So January 5th, I took that pen. And when I took that pen, I didn't know, like I said, what the response would be, right? So I didn't have any expectation, especially not high ones. But by the time I got to February, I was down 16 pounds. In 1 month. So I said, hey, this I might be onto something here, and I said, well, let me start recording this, right? So, I start, utilizing the smart scale and recording my measurements, week to week. And, at first I said, well, I'm not going to, get online or anything like that, even though I've seen people doing it. But then I said, you know what? Maybe I should, because there might be somebody else that, that just don't want to get online, but that could use tips as to what is helping me. Now, mind you, I started doing those shorts probably 9 weeks in, where I had lost about 30 pounds or 32 pounds, something like that. And I started getting feedback, from people. Oh man, I'm glad to see a man, especially a black man that's doing this, because a lot of our community don't want to share, you know what I mean? Or don't want to let people know, right, that what they're doing. So I said, yeah, you know what? I don't mind. I'll share. I talk about sports and other things like that on podcasts, online, stuff like that. So why not health? So I said, I'll do it. So when I started doing it, I was just watching a multitude of channels and things like that, and seeing what people post. And Charles was kind of around Mount Zephyr. I was probably the first person I started watching, and that was a guy, that I could relate to. And I, like this channel, and I respected everything. And I said, well, you know what? Let me start doing these updates, and just, cluing people into what my weekly weight is, and then trying to expand upon what I'm doing, right? So when I started out, I said, well, there's if you go back and look at my videos, there's these two discs that I use, that I've been using for years, by Dr. Jade Tater, right? It's all about resistance training and strength training, and this was because I couldn't do a lot on my feet because I have osteoarthritis. So I said, well, you know what? I can just kind of work out, and not really utilize my feet that much, walk when I can, right? Meaning I'm a proponent of strength training, right? It's in my videos. Go back and look at them, right? So when I started that, I did it years ago. I probably lost 25 pounds, right? That's probably the most I could get out of it, I got a trainer, I probably lost 30 pounds. That's the most I could get out of that. I did this thing called 40-day reset. I lost 40 pounds. Most I could get out of that. That was the farthest I could go. You know what I mean? And I was doing all the things. I mean, in the gym with this guy. You know, even to today. I mean, the guy is really cut up guy and a great trainer. This predates my osteoarthritis. But as far as I could go was that 40 pounds. I couldn't get past it, right? And I think over on The Downsized, there's a gentleman that talks about, we've probably lost and gained the same 25 to 40 pounds for years. And that was me. I could lose 20 to 40, 20 to 40. Never could get past it. So, fast forward, and I just wanted to make it clear that I'm a proponent of strength training because of my osteoarthritis. I started my beginning videos talking about that because I'm all about it, right? But it's not enough. I've said that so many times because we've all done that. Before GLP-1s, we've been strength training. That's ABC. Strength train, get on the treadmill. Strength train, get on the treadmill. You move your body. You build strength, gain muscle, walk, right? Reduce calories. Those are ABC, right? ABC. We know that. There's no argument with that. But it's not enough. You have to do more, right? On the other side of it, calories in, calories out. Weight Watchers, things like that. People have done for years. They got sick of calorie counting. It doesn't necessarily work for everybody. So you have to do more, right? Go all the way back to the beginning of this video. I said that my situation was emergent, right? So that means I have to do everything. I have to do everything available to me to make sure that I'm getting where I need to be. How do I do that? By being comprehensive, right? When your doctor checks on how you're doing on this journey, usually they order a comprehensive metabolic panel, right? That means everything, right? So it all matters. Does some matter more than others? Hell yeah, probably. Probably. But that's not the argument because we've done them all, but they haven't got us over the hump. And here's the other side of it. I'm talking about, and I'm talking to I was clinically obese, but obese individuals. I'm not talking to people that were overweight. The highest weight you've ever been was 165 and now you're 120 pounds. That's slightly overweight. You're not obese. You're not obese. I would not get on here and talk to a woman that gave birth to a baby and were in labor and tell them how labor goes or what the pain is like. I have no idea. So if you've never been obese, you can't talk to me about what my journey is. I've been clinically obese, and I've told my health marker was emergent. So I need to do anything that's within a safe range possible for my health. And I've done that. And I'm proud of it. Losing nearly 70 pounds, more than 20% of my body weight. Well, 66 pounds. Let me be specific. I don't want them to jump in there and criticize that. 66 pounds. Okay? So, I have the pictures to show it, right? Progress. Major progress. More than 20% of my body weight. But you have these keyboard warriors, which I like to call them, that sit there with their computer open, Googling, and want to tell people how things, well, their opinion on this, that. And it's fine, because it's the worldwide net. You can say what you want, just like I can say what I want. It's my opinion. If you don't like it, you don't have to follow it. You don't have to follow it. I'm just sharing what I do. That's safe. I've literally went over a whole 20-minute video of my lab work. And in my lab work, I literally turned every marker green, every one. Completely flipped my cholesterol upside down. Back to better than 10 years ago, based on what I do safely. I've never shared nothing on the internet in my page that's been unsafe or not backed by science. Because at the very least, even though none of us really cite sources, I don't care that you do, because we don't like, who cares? We don't need to go that deep. But none of us are, at least not in none of these groups that I've seen, no doggone scientists. You ain't no scientist. You just opening the computer and reading, comprehending to the best of your ability and sharing it, just like me and everybody else. That's all you're doing. So when I share things, I try to share the doctors that I'm talking about, like when I talked about intermittent fasting, because that was the other thing that I decided to do to help myself, because I don't have weight loss surgery like some people. Some people have weight loss surgery, and hey, They were doing what they had to do. But I can't compare my journey to anybody, actually, but especially not to someone that has weight loss surgery. I don't have that. That's a crutch or something that you could use because you're already restricted. I don't have that. That's an advantage, I should say. Not a crutch, that's an advantage. I just got the pen. And then my daily habits, which are very good, which is why my doctor was elated, not at my weight loss, but my health markers. I turned them around in less than 6 months, 20 some odd weeks, changed them all. Because I prioritize protein, strength training, and walking the best I can. So I don't need nobody jumping in and spreading anything and saying I'm saying something that I'm not. I've never said anything harmful, anything that would hurt anybody on the internet. Everything that I've done has been safe, and I preach it. Just a video ago, I talked about titrating back down to 7.5 because my heart rate was increased. I'm watching everything. I'm super safe. So anything that I'm regurgitating on this internet is a safe thing. I'm not putting nothing out here that's not safe to anybody ever. Go back and look at every video. Now, can you take 60 seconds out of a 20-minute video and say, oh, well, I might have said something? Yeah, because out of the last video, the biggest thing I got was, oh, I said that walking causes more weight loss than strength training. No, that was the answer. That was talking about someone that was a consistent weightlifter. It was a lady on YouTube that I didn't get to really break down that said that she was consistently utilizing strength training. She lifted a lot of weight, a lot of heavy weights, and she just couldn't lose weight anymore. So she started working with a guy who said, hey, what I would suggest is you walk for 45 minutes a day at pace, and I guarantee you in 2 weeks your weight will start to come down. And it did. At no point in that was I saying that walking is paramount, or much better than strength training. That's not what I said. So sometimes people are listening and basically hearing what I'm not saying, because basically you're doing hot takes. If I do a 25-minute video where I start talking about my family and a whole host of things, how does the 60 seconds become the most important thing? Because you're listening with a negative ear. Negative. A negative ear. You're a negative person. So my whole thing is, and again, I only wanted to make it a short video, and I don't want to continue, and I'm not going to make it a part of my Sunday video, but the keyboard warriors are out there, and I understand why. And I say that because they don't have any videos. Make your video so we can critique you. Put your 25, 30 minutes up here and see if you go a minute and don't misspeak or say something that's not clear. That shouldn't be a deep dive. There's no deep dive needed. I have enough videos on here sharing enough stuff positively. And let me pause to say this. Thank you to everybody that supports, because I got a lot of support. A lot of support. A lot of channels. A lot of positive people. People like Simply Taisha. She's amazingly positive. And I'm always doing her surveys and things of that nature just to, support the channel. She is absolutely amazing and such a positive person. So people like that, those big, people that have channels have grown, more power to them, But I understand why some people, like the downsized, start to make read news clippings and leave it at that. Because when you actually sharing your personal journey and you say something, people want to break it apart. You can't break apart my journey. That's like Dr. Dan said. Biology is a very it's not a one-size-fits-all thing. My biology is not your biology. Is there a core? Is there a baseline of stuff? Heck yeah, it is. Like move your body, strength training, and walking are part of the lifestyle. Absolutely, that's ABC. But sometimes when I'm speaking, I think I should be breaking it down so people don't misunderstand what I'm saying or use it as a leapfrog for content, because that happens. So I'll leave it there. And like I said, when I make videos, it's for people that was in emergent situations like me that were probably clinically obese and had to do something emergent. So when I get into the whole thing about hyper responder and all of that, that's because that's what happened to me. That's what happened to me. I took a needle and this is what it did. This is what it did. I didn't choose it. And if I feel something that the other people aren't saying, and I have a platform to speak up, I'm going to speak up about it. People were consistently, talking down hyper response. And my main thing was, hey, you don't control how your body responds. But people shouldn't be preying on the downfall or the stopping of the response. As far as it go. Is it going to slow down or of course it's going to slow down. You can't lose more weight than your body allows or it needs to. And I'll end up with this. If I don't lose another pound, I already won, because I changed my health markers. It was never simply about weight loss. That was a part of it. It was about my health markers, which I was able to flip upside down safely. Because I've talked about my increase in protein and everything that I've seen from the things that I do. And now my intermittent fasting that I've added as another tool for me, because I needed something else to help me to keep moving the needle, because my situation was emergent, and I can't take 2 years to lose pounds. And people that have never lost more than 30 pounds should probably not try to be the end all be all in these situations, because you don't know. You have never experienced being clinically obese, or even obese for that matter. Because if you go from 160 to 120, that's not obesity. That's not obesity. It's just not. It's overweight, but it's not clinically obesity. I was 43. My BMI was a 43. Now it's a 34. I like it to get into the 20s. 29 would be just fine with me. I'm not trying to be anything smaller than that, because it's about more than health. My markers have changed, and I just want to be more comfortable at a pace where I'm not gaining the weight back, which I don't. I'm very consistent at what I do, so I doubt it, because I do the same things. I'm very consistent at what I do. Don't change much. So I'm not worrying about, oh well, it's going to come to an end. You're going to go all the way back. What? How? Anything can happen. I'm a Christian man. I believe in God. God is number one. He's the person that's in control. But I'm doing all the things, and I'm going to continue doing all the things. I'm that passionate about it. Anything I'm passionate about, I'm going to keep going. So I'll be around, not going anywhere. So if you do like, my channel, hey, like, subscribe. For all the positive people, I apologize to y'all, but sometimes these keyboard warriors who don't make videos for people to critique got all the say in the world on other people's videos, because that's what I'm talking about. Not people that are content creators, because all the content creators that I follow, I respect y'all. I'm in your comments, and we talk, and we go back and forth. It's all good. But as far as these people who only type, that just go around correcting everybody, you're a lame. So you're one of those people I was talking about. So, but to end it on a positive note, I'll be back Sunday with the update that I always provide. Whether I lose weight or not, I've lost weight for 23 consecutive weeks. At some point, it will stop. I won't keep losing weight. I'll have a week where I don't. I might have 2 or 3 weeks where I don't. But I'll never stop trying. And I've lost over 20% of my body weight, which is what Eli Lilly promises. So I've already done that. So I feel victorious. So I don't, it is what it is. But have a blessed day. And like I always like to end all of my videos, we're in this together. Later.